so that he can hear your body. He can hear your thoughts. Obviously, so much of our thoughts dictate the words that we say. And it's one of the ways that our spirit expresses ourselves, right? So like that, the information that we have, the wisdom of our soul comes through our voice.
Are you done people pleasing? Done comparing yourself to every woman on your Instagram feed? Done dating men who give you the bare minimum effort and somehow convincing yourself that it's enough? Done playing small so you can fit into spaces that were never built for you in the first place? Good. You are in exactly the right place. Welcome to Your Unapologetic Life, the podcast for women who are ready to stop settling and start showing up fully, confidently, and completely unapologetically in every area of their lives. I'm your host, Morgan Barkis, confidence coach for women, author, speaker, and exotic dance instructor with a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. I have built my confidence the hard way, speaking up for myself when it's scary, feeling sexy in my body when everything around me said I shouldn't, traveling alone, moving across the country by myself multiple times, dating with standards, knowing what I want and asking for it without apology. I have been in the mess and I have come out the other side, and now I coach women on how to do the same. This podcast is for the woman who is done waiting for permission, done waiting until she is skinnier, more polished, less complicated, or finally chosen by someone who keeps her guessing. She is smart, she is capable, and she is exhausted from trying to hold it all together while quietly falling apart inside. This is not a podcast about toxic positivity or 5 steps to a better morning routine. This is real talk about confidence, dating, body image, self-worth, and what it actually takes to become a woman who does not settle ever again. I'm glad you're here. If you're like me, you're listening at 1.5 speed while doing other things. So let's get into it. I want to know where you are in the world right now. I want to know where you grew up. Who was Cytel when she was a little gal, and how did she get where she is now?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's so fun. I love that. So I'm in Utah now.
Okay.
I was born in North Dakota. I'll probably be like one of Grand Forks. Are you familiar?
Okay. So in my sales role, I cover 6 states, and 2 of them are the Dakotas. So yes, I have been.
Seriously, I feel like I have not run into very many people who they're like familiar with North Dakota or have been.
Yeah. Well, my dad goes duck hunting there every year, and he has for like decades. He usually goes depending on what the hunting is like. He'll go to south or north. So I knew of it, and then when I started this particular sales job I'm in now, and I thought it was really, I wouldn't want to live there, and I thought it was really beautiful. I was like, wow, it's gorgeous here in some areas. It's really, you can almost feel like the spirit of the people that lived there hundreds of years ago. It was really cool.
For sure. So I was born there, lived there till I was about 8, and then moved down to Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay. So Minnesota, got it. And now you're in Utah.
Yeah, sure.
Utah.
Salt Lake area. Yeah.
How did you get there, though? You fall in love and follow a boy? Did you want to go because you wanted the beer?
That's exactly what I did. I fell in love, followed a boy. He came here to go to the University of Utah. He graduated, and I was like, deuces, I'm out. So we got divorced, but I had a little boy. We had a little boy, so I stayed. And I actually, funny story. When I was married to him, I worked for my current husband's dad. He's the owner of a business out here, and I was the receptionist. And 6 months into working for his dad, he said, "If you ever leave your husband, will you marry my son?"
No way.
And I was like, I think at the time I was 20. I was so just appease everybody. I was like, this is my boss. I was only like barely a year into my marriage. And so I was like, I'm never getting divorced. I can't say no. So I was just like, yeah. And then a few years later, we were married.
That is bananas. Okay, wait. So you met your first husband while in Rochester and then moved to Utah?
I actually met him in Idaho. So I went to school in Idaho.
Okay.
And then we got married and moved to Utah.
Got it. Okay.
I had a baby.
You were all over the place. Okay. How old is the little one now?
24.
Oh my God. Not so little anymore. Okay.
No.
Wow. Well, you look young. You look great. But you probably had a baby young, obviously. So.
I was 22 when I had him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wasn't a baby, but I looked back at pictures when he was like 9 months old because I get looks, and I looked back at pictures and I was like, oh, I legit look like I was 15 or 16.
Yeah. Well, you kind of
So,
already still have like a baby face. So yeah, heck yeah. Okay, so going back to the boss who was like, "Hey, if you ever divorce your hubby, can you marry my husband? Or marry my husband, marry my son." When did you actually be interested in him? Because you're like, haha, because you don't know what to say, like awkward, and then you end up liking him. So where did that happen?
yeah, he'd come in to see his dad and then he started working for his dad. And I had a friend down there and, things had fallen apart with my husband and we just kind of started chatting and then we started hanging out. And I was like, okay, this dude is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's where you've been ever since. Okay, so we met in Divine Living Academy. And so what I love is that, I don't know, I think that when you're a business owner, depending on what you're doing, you're not around a lot of people unless you create community and or
Yep.
join community. And so I love that we met and that we share mutual friends, even though we haven't met in person yet. I have talked to one of our mutual friends though, and I'm like, let's do Sedona. Cytel will
Yes.
do our astrology stuff. You'll teach us photography. I'll do some dance lessons.
I'm game.
But anyway, I want you to explain, like, what, I mean, obviously I just said how we met. What do you do? Why, what even brought us together? And I think you reached out to me first, and what made you want to?
Yeah, I just saw you from across the room and knew I had to get to know you.
That's
But
awesome. That's how the best friendships start. I have a good friend from graduate school that was like that. She goes, she's crazy and I like her.
yes. I remember seeing you on a few calls and I was just like, gosh, I just really like her. And then I was talking to a mutual friend of ours and she just kept saying your name. And I was like, I just need to reach out to her because I just love your style. I love how expressive you are, which is something that's so important to me. It's one of my highest values is expression. And
Okay.
so I love being around other people who exude that.
And you're in marketing and it's not what you think. And so talk about what you
Yes.
do, because it was so cute because you were like, hey, if you're open to it, do you want to share your birthday? I was like, girl, I am an open book. So I'll tell you where I was born, how much I weighed, the day, the time. What do you want to know? So talk about why our birthdays come into what you do in terms of like your marketing stuff.
Oh, I just love it. So, most marketing coaches really focus on strategy.
Mhm.
And strategy is important, but strategy isn't the thing that's going to set you apart. You're the one that's going to set you apart. You're the thing that your clients are actually looking for. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, there's no other copy like you in the world.
Yeah.
And I think so often, especially in the world of AI and in the world of trying to make a business work, we end up diluting our voice and we end up sounding like everybody else so that we can stay safe and get our message out there and like not exclude people and expand our audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's expand our audience, but how do we do that in a way that keeps us safe and doesn't exclude people, because we don't want to do that, even though that is part of the process in marketing.
Yeah.
Um, and our birth chart is a map of where everything was in the sky the moment we were born. And it's basically a map to who we are. And like that's how most astrologers look at it, right? But I also look at it as it's a map to your voice.
Hmm.
It's a map to your marketing and not just what your ideal clients want and need from you, but what you want and need to say. Because that's truly the beautiful balance in marketing. When marketing is only about the ideal client, that's when it becomes generic. And then when it's only us talking and us saying our thing, then it's, they have a hard time finding themselves in that.
Yeah.
So the most magnetic marketing is a blend of our ideal client and our voice.
So this started somewhere. I'm assuming, I mean, it starts with you. So I think about the work I do as a confidence coach. It's most of it because it came out of my own work and going, wow, there were things that like finding your own voice. Then it's body confidence for me. Then it was money. Then it was relationships. So I built on these different kind of pillars of life, if you will. And I'm like, wow, I can actually help other women now. Plus I have a degree. So that was kind of, it all mixed together and it worked out. For you, where did this start? Where did it start for you? And then you're like, well, now I want to help other people do this.
Yeah, it started, I got into some woo-woo stuff, was doing some energy work.
Okay.
And,
wait, like how old? Where were you? What'd you do?
oh, I was 33. I
Okay.
think. 32,
did you go away?
33.
Did you get into like ayahuasca or
No, it was my aunt was into it. And I was like, what's this? Cool? I'm like, I'm into self-improvement. If this is down the self-improvement aisle, like sign me up,
Yeah.
And she started helping me with some things. And I was like, wow, this is really incredible. So I kind of learned how to do it.
With like books, or did you guys go to retreats? What did you do?
Yeah, she just did it over the phone. She just did it over the phone. She was like tapping into my energy, tapping into me. We're working through emotions, working like processing, doing generational stuff, like all the woo, right?
Okay.
And this is like, you're going to get all the woo side of me today.
I love woo stuff.
Good. So I was doing it and a neighbor came to me and she was like, hey, my daughter wants to take voice lessons. You sing really well. Will you teach her voice lessons? And I thought, no way in hell am I doing that. But she was like, because I'm like all the things. And she said,
you just didn't want to teach. It's like, yeah, I'm good
at
it.
I'm good at it, but I didn't get a degree in it. I had 3 months of voice lessons in college. It just right. So it's not like I'm not qualified, right? So like I'm not taking money for something I'm not qualified for. And she said, well, I have this in-home daycare, so I can trade you. My daughter was 3 at the time. She's like, I'll trade you. I'll watch your daughter twice a week for 2 hours each time. So 4 hours a week for 30-minute voice lessons. And I was like, I'm game. Like, I'm in. Let's do this. When can we start? And so I started teaching her daughter voice lessons, and it was wild because everything was so natural. Like I just got things that I shouldn't get. Does that make sense?
Like, give me an example.
Like I would just know how to help her step into a better pitch, or how to relax her voice better, or like hit certain notes, or fix her tone, or create more richness. Do you know what I'm saying? Like things I shouldn't know. So I started doing that. And then I heard God say to me, I want you to tell people that you can hear things when they sing. Wow. And I was like, you want me to lie to people? Like that is that's not the God I know. And he said, just trust me. And start saying it. So I was like, all right. So I started telling people and they were like, that's really cool that you can do that. And I was like, it would be really cool if I could actually do that. Like, that's what I was thinking in my head. And then a really close friend of mine came over. She's like, I've got a concert coming up. Will you like help me? Can we do a voice lesson? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So she comes over and she starts singing for me. And she knew I was into the woo. And it was like, oh, I can hear things when you sing. Like I could hear emotions. I could hear thought patterns that she was having. I could see how the struggle she was having in her breath was directly related to what was happening in her personal life. And I was like, what in the world is going on? And so I ended up addressing like taking the way she was taking in her life. So everything she was breathing in her life, like letting herself absorb, was all the really hard things. And so of course, if you're only absorbing the really hard things and you're not absorbing any of the joy, it's going to create a shortness of breath, and it's going to make it so that you can't actually get a deep supportive breath, because why would you want to breathe deeply in these really hard experiences. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Now,
we
did you talk
address,
it out with her? Like, hey, this
mm-hmm,
is what's coming through. And
yep.
did you even know what it was about when she said it? When you said it, she was like, whoa, are you a psychic?
She was like, but she trusted me, like, because we had a really good friendship, right?
Yeah.
And so she trusted me, and she was like, with this spot on, like, just totally spot on. And I was blown away. And yeah, we worked through those things, and it changed her ability to get this breast support she needed. And it was wild. And I started doing that for people. And I remember a woman came to me, and she was going to sing this huge song, and it was hitting some notes that she hadn't hit since she'd left a husband, and it was a really abusive relationship. And so we did the emotional healing work around that, and it was probably 15, 20 minutes, and then she could hit the note, and like there was no issue. And she had sung for me prior to that, and it was like really squeaky up there on the note. It was super tight. We did the work, and she just sailed to the top, and it was like there had never been an issue.
People come in for the voice lessons. You tap into these other things. So they go, okay, I was not
Yep.
expecting that. And this is definitely what I needed. Because they don't quite come in going, I know I'm going to get voice lessons and some therapy. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes, exactly. But that's what they were getting. It was wild. I mean, I didn't want to call myself a voice teacher, because I didn't feel like that's what I was,
Mm-hmm.
for sure, or a therapist, because I'm not that either. But
Yeah.
definitely a mix. It was like, it just is going to happen. It's just going to heal. But I didn't necessarily want to work with singers. I didn't necessarily want to just focus on like singing stuff. And so I just kept listening. I just kept like listening to God, and working my way through what's the next step, And I ended up having a bunch of friends that were really into astrology. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, it's a fad. Like, like I told my friend this, she's on YouTube, makes money from astrology on YouTube. And I said, I think it's a fad. And I'm sure she was like, 2,000 years, 2,000 year fad.
Yeah.
Yes.
And go ahead. Like, I'm still making money. So,
Exactly. I think it was like a month or two. I think it was a month later, I found a business coach, and her whole thing was around finding your soul offer, like what you were designed to bring to this world. And as a part of her program, you like learned the basics of astrology, so you could look at your natal chart and see what you were really born to do. And that's when
okay.
I was like, okay, this astrology thing's pretty cool.
Wait,
And
what
so
did yours say though? Like, what did your chart say that you were like, I know what I'm supposed to do now?
well, I didn't quite, like, I kind of got it, but it was really all about the voice, and really about helping people speak up and helping them
Hmm.
be heard. And I was just like, okay, like I'm on the right track. I'm just going to keep going this way. So I took a certification several months later, and it was like everything that I had done with Claire audience before was preparing me for this moment. Um, took the certification class, and I was like, okay, I get it, but astrology is like a language on its own. It's like this whole thing that you have to decipher and like understand, but it's not very understandable. It just takes a lot of years to really get it. Do you know what I mean? So my teacher, my coach, she was like, this takes years to become a professional. And I was like, I was having a hard time understanding it. So I just kind of went, okay, God, can you just show me what to do here? Show me how to understand this. And a friend said, why don't you just listen to it? Each one of the planets. Why don't you listen to the signs? Why don't you listen to people's natal charts like you do their voice? And I was like, freaking genius. And it was like everything just came. And my friend, who was a professional astrologer, she's like, I talked to her, she's like, you're not a newbie. You sound like you've been doing this for a long time. She's like, you're professional for sure. And so it's just like, I can just hear all these things that most astrologers wouldn't necessarily say, but make sense for their life. Do you know what I mean? Like
No.
explaining it in a way that makes sense. Like, you don't understand astrology, but I can tell you what's going on. And I'm like listening to the person's chart, and actually sharing what their soul wants to say instead of regurgitating information that I learned from a certification.
Oh, okay. So each reading would be unique in that it's not like an astrology app where it's like, I'm a Libra, so I'm this, and that. It's
Yep.
like, yes, I'm still Libra, and you're interpreting it in a different way than I would find on some kind of horoscope app. Is that right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Like all astrology is going to talk about your sun sign is like your mind. And everybody knows their sun sign, right? It's like how everybody else views you.
Hmm.
But I see it as where your voice naturally carries weight in your life. Like, where is your voice hitting harder in that area than anywhere else? Even if you don't think it does, this is where people are going to be like, oh yeah, they listen to you. So
Hmm.
a friend of mine, her husband's sun sits in his fourth house. In English, what that means is at home, right? So in like normal astrology, this would be like, oh, he's really lets himself be seen at home. Like people see his personality more at home. But the way I hear it is he lets his voice shine at home. His voice carries more weight, and he actually ends up speaking more naturally and speaking up more at home. Does that make sense?
Versus where?
Versus at work. So at work, he's quieter. At work, he's
Hmm.
quieter. Online, he's non-existent online. He has an account, but he's like a lurker if he gets on. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
interesting. As you say that, I'm like, huh. Because when I'm at home, I mean, obviously my own home, that's different. I'm very comfortable and I live alone. I do whatever I want. And if I were to visit my home, like my mom and dad's home where I'm from, versus online, I'm way more out loud and not obnoxious. That's not the word I'm looking for, but I'm like out there online
Yes.
because I'm like,
Yes.
I've got a personality, I've got things to say. I got to
Yep.
make sure I say this so people understand or see themselves in it. When I'm at home, I'm like, I'm sort of a part of my mom and dad's world and I just kind of blend
Yep.
in and I
Yep.
follow them around like I did when
Yep.
I was a little kid. And so I get that. That makes sense.
Yes, and I mean, I just looked up your chart, and your sun is sitting in the 11th house. Like your voice naturally carries weight online, and
Oh, what's the 11th
so
house? What is it,
that's
11th
the
house?
house of online. That's like
Oh,
online. Yes, like groups of people.
wow.
It's the internet,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so like you just validated all of that. And
That's
do you know what I'm
wild.
saying? It is
Yeah.
wild. So
Now,
it's
when you go ahead.
so when you can see where your voice naturally carries weight and
Hmm.
you lean into that even more, it adds power to your voice. So anytime you can do something more consciously, you do it
Hmm.
more powerfully.
Sure. Now, for you, here, I'll give you an example. I was trained as a therapist. I chose not to follow that path and get licensed and all that. So I'm not a therapist, and I'm trained in a certain systems theory, if you will. So I have some skills. And then when I was struggling one time, my mom was like, "Well, can't you fix yourself? You're a therapist." And I was like, Mom, like sometimes you're so close to it that you need someone else to help move you through something.
Mm-hmm.
That even though you have the skill set to help someone else and ask good questions and be an active listener and know how to help them through something, you can't always do it for yourself. So is it the same with this for you? Like, can you hear yourself? Can you work with yourself?
Yes. I I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is, am I willing to listen?
Wait, say more. What do you mean?
Because I honestly think that we can, like, for the most part, we can. Obviously, we need
Yeah.
an outside perspective sometimes. And obviously, there's things that, even with my own marketing, I need somebody else to kind of take a look at it. But where we're truly gifted, I feel so passionate about where you're truly gifted, you can actually help yourself the most in the things that you're truly gifted at. Just like you were
Mhm.
talking about, like the confidence and things like that, like you're going to be able to help yourself. So when I'm willing to actually listen to myself, when I'm
Mhm.
willing to actually listen to my marketing and listen to my voice and what's happening with my voice, then yeah, it's like, well, that was obvious. Oh, okay, I hear that. So just last week, I was recording a reel and I'd been like really having a hard time. I was showing up on reels, but I was performing for the
Mm.
reel instead of just being really real for the real. And I, I'm glad you laughed. so, so I remember I I just said like a couple little affirmations and I started recording. And, the hope was that you could just record one time and have it be perfect. And I hit record and I noticed I started stumbling. And instead of getting frustrated, which I had been doing, or being hard on myself and then starting over, stopping and starting over, what I did is I was like, oh, I'm stumbling there because that's not actually what I want to share. Oh, I just stumbled there because that felt like too much private information to share. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm stumbling there because I actually want to say something a little bit different. Oh, that was a performance, so I just stumbled. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I started really like slowing down and listening to my own speech, listening to what was happening in my own voice. And I was able to turn the entire reel around. And I was like, well, that was the most authentic reel I've ever done.
You had a real reel.
I had a real reel. Exactly.
And how else does it play out in your marketing? I mean, are we talking colors, themes, topics, ideal client? Like, how has what you've learned about yourself changed what you're doing? And then do you have an example of a client you've worked with that you shifted or like changed what they were doing with their work?
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at my chart, I can see my ideal client. I can see what she's struggling with. I can see part of that is because I'm her, right? I've been
Mm-hmm.
her, been there, done that. And on some levels, still continuing to do that. Like I think we all are in our own niche. And so, like, really looking that and listening to that, I can see what it is that I need to say. I can see how it is that I can get into the marketing flow because I think a lot of times you sit down to write copy and then it's like, what do I do again? How do I say what I do again? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that I want to say? Because we start editing our content before it's even coming out of our head and onto our fingers.
I gotta tell you, that's why I love Claude, because I'll get on there and I'll start talking, and I'm like, well, then I want to say this, but I was talking about that, and I saw this girl and I did that. Can you help me say this more articulately? But I want you to use my words, so it still needs to sound like me. And then it
Yes.
will come out, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. And I might edit a few things. I like to free flow and just be really candid. And then it's so awesome to have a tool to help me be more concise. And even if I don't like it, then I'm like, no, I would never say that. Don't say shrinking. I'm never going to say that a woman is shrinking, so
Yep.
it learns me. But it's really nice to speak in my own voice because I do find if I
Yep.
sit and start typing, I am going to get into like creative
Yep.
writing, English Morgan good student mode, and it's
Yep.
not going to be authentic. Yeah.
Yes,
So
exactly.
the
I
text
was
has been very helpful for me.
Yeah, yes, I can definitely see that for you. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was I think it was a little while ago. I was prepping an email and I was like, you've got I had three different things I was going to say. And you know how you do like A, B, C or 1, 2, 3? I
Yeah.
did A to C and it totally, totally like edited that out. And I was like ABC. And I was like, no, put that back in there because that's how I would say it. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, hey girl. And I'm like making references to kids movies or like Shrek, or I can't even remember what movie it was, like whatever movie it was, but I was like in the voice of, from this movie. I'm like, all that stuff has to stay in there because
Yeah.
it's me. But so often, especially AI will pull that out and make it more generic when
Mhm.
it's like, that's the part. But I think sometimes too, people don't really know what their authentic voice sounds like.
Still, if someone's listening and going, I still don't know what she means by the authentic voice. Like, is it actually a voice in your head? Is it like a sound? Like, to talk
Yeah.
more about what that means.
Yeah, both. Both. Authentic voice is like the words you're using, like how you would actually say it. Like how would
Okay.
you actually say it? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
how you would actually say the thing that you want to say. But also it is the sound of your actual voice. So it is
Okay.
that piece. So
Okay.
like um I'm a Leo moon, which is a fire sign, right?
Okay.
Holla, love fire signs. And so it's a very expressive. True to Leo, the sound would be rich in color. And when you say color, like it's got depth, it's got dynamic to it. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's that up and down in cadence in the speech, but it's because it's creating a story. It's creating that expression. Each word, each line is its own expression, right? So how I sound now is not how I've always sounded. What I sounded like before I stepped into my authentic voice was something more like, let me see if I can do it. I pulled back the sound just a little bit. And so it was a lot softer. Like, can you hear the difference? Mm-hmm. So it was like this. So I'm talking more like this. And so the sound is more like inside my body. And I was doing that because I wanted to keep myself safe. And I wanted to make sure that everybody liked me when I said the thing that I said, and I didn't cause too much problems. And like, maybe I can be heard a little bit better. But the truth is that it made it harder for me to hear. And it made it harder for people to...
I like your depth. As soon as you switched, I was like, "Oh, whew, we're back."
Yes, it feel you right. If you feel like you literally feel better.
Yeah, and because even when I was listening to you before you did it, your fake voice, if you will, or your inauthentic voice, I was like, no wonder she sings good, because you do have like a rich, like voluptuous voice, and I was like, I can see that she's a good singer. Yeah,
yeah. So it's really interesting. It's like your authentic voice, your sound ends up being a magnifier for your words. So when you're not in your authentic sound, it's a muffler. So like it makes it harder for people to understand what it is that you're saying. So like personal life example, after I had like really started stepping into my voice and like being in my actual sound, I was standing at my island counter in my kitchen with my son, and I was talking to him and he goes, "Why do you sound like that?" And I was like, "Oh, I just stepped out of my voice, my sound." And he recognized it because I haven't been there for so long. And so I was like, "Oh, I know exactly what I need to do to step right back in." So I stepped right back in, and it was like the conversation went on, but his body felt the shift. His ears felt the shift, even though he had no idea what I did at the time. Like, he doesn't know what I do. He didn't know what I did for work. Like, it just wasn't a thing that we ever talked about. And in that moment, I was like, they hear it. People hear it. Even if they don't know what they're hearing, they hear it. Do you know what I'm saying?
You leave so for instance, you and I are talking or whatever. If I were to get on my phone and record the voicemail note that I leave, all of a sudden my voice changes. Like, or if people are going to leave a voicemail and you overhear them leaving a voicemail, their voice is different than when they're actually talking to you. Is that kind of... Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's exactly it. So I've worked with clients where they'll come in and we're talking about marketing, right? And I can hear their actual sound is out.
Okay.
And so I'm like, all right, some things need to switch here. So we're still doing that inner work, the emotional work. We're talking about marketing. Like, I'm weaving the two together, right? And I have had people's literal voices change. And I have had clients of theirs come to me and said, "I've known her for a while. I've been following her for a while, but I couldn't work with her and when her voice shifted was when I knew it was time to work with her."
Wow. And I like what you said about it's the physical voice, like the actual sound.
It's
also what you're saying, because when I first started my business, before you and I met and I had joined DLA, I was really struggling to find my ICA. It was always about confidence. I knew in my heart, and I kept getting mentored that it has to be more specific. It has to be a very specific goal, and I just couldn't get traction with it. And then, so as I was dabbling, I was still recording podcast episodes and trying to do social media. And what's interesting is when I finally said, "Fuck it, I am gonna swear." I do, like, because I was like trying not to swear, and I was
right.
I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just going to talk exactly how I talk, and I'm going to say the thing I say. And if people don't like it, and if I get fired from my corporate job because they find out that I swear a lot on a podcast, then whatever, And then all of a sudden it was like, wow, people started paying attention. I got a couple paying clients. Like it.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was like,
yes.
I get what you mean now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like,
well, love me or hate me, I'm okay with that. Like, it's like that's what I learned. I don't remember where, but the marketing was basically like, you want people that are obsessed with you and everything you put out. They're like, "Oh my God, I can't wait." And then the people that literally despise you and they don't want anything to do with you. Fine. Not your ideal client, none of your business. And I was like, Sign me up for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's so cool about your authentic sound and your voice, and like having your voice in your marketing, having it in your reels, having it in your content everywhere, like saying the thing the way that you say the thing, it's because you were designed to bring your audience something specific. I'm looking at your chart right now. So you're designed to bring your audience something specific, which we already know. And like the whole like hard thing is like, what is it exactly? Like you were saying, you knew it was confidence, like you knew it was along those lines. And how do you say what it is that you say? But the sound of your voice is also exactly what your clients need. And it brings them something specific. So the sound of my voice helps people express, like it fires up that desire for them to actually say the words that they want to say. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
That's your voice is what gives them voice almost. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And they're like, all of a sudden they're speaking like people that wouldn't normally say something to somebody else. They say it to me, not surprised. Like that doesn't surprise me at all, because just hearing me say something to them makes them want to speak. Your voice brings people's bodies to action. And that, like, can you see that?
Yes, because I've now well, more than that, clients of mine have said, Morgan, I've been dealing with this for decades, or I've been in this relationship for 3.5 years. I've gone to talk therapy. In a week, you like got me this win or this result. And I was like, well, great. I'm glad I work fast. Like, so yeah, I can see that whatever I help them move through, they move very quickly. So I get that. Yeah.
Yes, because you're this like the literal sound of your voice, because you're definitely in that airy sound. The literal sound of your voice ignites their body to action. So things that they've been sitting on, things that they've been waiting to do, they hear you speak and they're like, I can do it. I'm doing it.
Awesome. I love that.
Which, like, I was a confidence coach, like, hallelujah, hell yes. Like, that's what your women are 100% needing, so that they can stand up in their life, so they can take the shining role in their life, which is really what confidence is, right? And just like do the thing that they've been wanting to do. So you're like, let me help you do the thing you want to do.
Yeah. Now, do you have an example of somebody you worked with where it was just like a major change? Like you revamped things, and what was the result of that? Like, if you work with a client, what does that look like?
Yeah. So I worked with this, I have a couple examples. I worked with this client, and she was just having the hardest time writing any content. She'd been in business for a really long time. She had a certificate, like she had all these things. She even had a book that she'd written, but she hadn't put it out yet. It was like everything was, do you know what I'm saying? Like holding back, and I've got to edit this. I've got to edit that. Like all the things, because we've got to make sure it just is exactly perfect and looks good and all the, exactly, like all those things. And as we worked together, it really was about creating safety for her voice to be heard. And safety to really say the thing, and safety to even create the content inside the safety of her home, which is, it sounds weird, but it's like, how do you say the thing? She wasn't able to get it out. So we worked together, and we ended up having a VIP day. I mean, I'd been working with her for a little while, and she's like, I need more than 1 hour with you. And I was like, fantastic, let's do a VIP day. So I threw something together. We met, we did a VIP day. 2 weeks later, she had her entire website written. Right. So that's like it takes time kind of thing to put together. And it was just like, boom, it's there. Boom. Not only does she have her whole website written, she had everything ready to go for the launch of her book. Like the book was now edited, like everything was ready for that. She had talked to me about, she's like, I found somebody, we're doing a podcast together. I'm like, all this happened in 2 weeks? Like, what in the, but it was just because the creating of the content then became really easy. And then we could kind of tweak the little things, and I could show her the strategy and the content to make that work. But she was so stuck in strategy before that the content couldn't even come through.
And you used her natal chart for that? Like you did that
Yep.
first and talked to her about it?
100%. Yes. So it was like everything that we talked about in her VIP day, it was like, what does your morning routine need to look like? It was like, how are you designed to manage your money? And those two things, like you would think, what does my morning routine have to do with marketing? But what it was doing is it was setting her up from the very beginning of the day to have a voice in her life. And your business voice is reflected in your personal life. Your personal life is reflected in your business. You know what I'm saying? Like the two are connected, even though we don't want them to be. They totally are. So if you're not speaking up in your personal life, you'll speak up even less in your business life. Yes. So it's like, okay, we've got to create this here. So I had another client and she came to me and she's like, I could tell right off the bat she was talking to the wrong people. I was like, you're not even talking to the right ideal client. And she ended up sharing with me she was having some frustrations with the people that she was attracting. And I was like, of course you are, because you're not even talking to the right group of people. Like based on her natal chart, I was like, the people you're trying to attract are already making money. And you're talking to the people that haven't been making money.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And so we really she got clear and I gave her the permission to actually work with, like I say, give her the permission, but do you know what I'm saying? Like I showed her who she's actually designed to work with. And she was like, oh, that feels a lot better. And she signed a client that paid her more than she paid me. And I was like, fantastic. Like
That's awesome.
I'm all for that. I am all for that. And not only did that change, but the way she was communicating with her husband completely changed. The way she was living her life on vacation completely changed. Like one of her whole assignments for her marketing was to slow down and enjoy her vacation. That was it. That was but it shifted how she was talking to her ideal client. It shifted how she was showing up online.
Mm-hmm. You know, some people, they do the human design and they realize, oh, I'm a manifestor, generator, or my authority is emotional or whatever it is. And that's helpful. It's just so interesting that there are many different ways to figure out how we tick or the way we operate. And it's so cool that you were able to tie, because for me, astrology, it's been fun. It's like, oh, well, that's confirming that I'm sort of like this, and I'm sort of like that. I mean, it's not always true, blah, blah, blah. And then a lot of it's about romance. I have a friend, he is always like, well, what's his sign? You know, right away he wants to know his sign. He's like, I don't know. I've dated Leos. They can be complicated. Or I don't know. So, you know, so it's like funny because it's almost like pop culture relationship stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to base my life on it, you know, because somebody says that Libra and this don't get along. But it's just interesting that something that, like you said, has been around for thousands of years, you've managed to move it into a place where you can help people in their business. And it's not about your brand, your logo and your colors and it's a very different way to look at marketing. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's all about how you're communicating. I don't want to use astrology just to be like, oh, that's cool information. I want to use it, and I am using it to transform people's lives, to transform their marketing. Like, look, a Taurus and a Gemini should definitely not be together. And everything would say that.
Wait, is that true? Why? Because I mean, Geminis, from my experience, have been pretty moody. But is it like, what do you put stubborn and moody together? Is that why they should be together?
Exactly. Well, the thing is, like, Gemini loves change, and they're like all about change. And the one thing Taurus hates is change. Taurus is so stubborn.
Because my dad is like, this is working. Why would we do something different? Yeah.
Right.
My dad is a Taurus, so yeah, that makes sense.
I'm a Gemini sun. My husband is a Taurus sun. He's a Taurus moon too. So his head and his heart are just like, I'm comfortable. I want comfort. All I want is comfort. And my head is like, let's change. Let's do something different. Let's God,
is he in constant cognitive dissonance? I mean,
but it's really great because I can see where he's at. So I'm like, okay, let's create a little bit of comfort, or maybe I need to push and create a little discomfort. So where he's at right now is so uncomfortable. He wants to change, in a
Yeah,
very loving way, not in a forced way. But
yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
understanding that it's not just about the signs. It's like, are you expressing in a way that's true to yourself? Are you expressing in the shadow of the sign, which so much of pop astrology is about the shadow. Like Leo is self obsessed and Gemini is chaos. And do you know what I'm saying? And Taurus is stubborn. Like that's pop astrology, but that's only half of that. Half of it.
Yeah,
That's the shadow of the sign. That's not actually the truth of the sign. And that's what
sure.
I'm looking at. Like, let's look at the truth of you. Let's look at the truth of your marketing and get this so that you're heard in your business. You're heard in your marketing, because when you're heard in your marketing, that's when you can make change. That's when you can impact lives and do the thing that you're here to do.
This is so cool. One of the fun things for me about podcasting, and I know I should do more solo episodes. I enjoy these because it's fun to one support women and be like, look what she's doing. It's so cool to be able to learn that there are all these things. I think we're in such a cool age. Growing up, I'm 45. We didn't have internet, and the only thing I knew in my small town of Wisconsin was what was happening in my small community. It wasn't like
Yep.
didn't know all these cool things about all the cool things that people could do for a living, or how they could take astrology and help people with their marketing. I mean, it's just so cool sharing, to me, everybody's different ways of helping people. I love it.
I totally agree, which is why I'm obsessed with what I do, because there are so many freaking cool, badass women out there doing amazing things. And I want them to get their voice out there so they can help more people do more amazing things.
I love that. Okay, so quick story. When I worked for a different company, I was in a sales role, and we were going to do this like team activity. And my boss was like, we're going to do karaoke. And I almost had a heart attack. I mean, as a former stripper, I would have gotten naked in front of everyone. No problem. But if you tell me to go on stage and do karaoke, I cannot, will not, shut down, absolutely not. So I messaged him and I was like, hey, is the karaoke required? Like, I really am uncomfortable with this. And he was like, yeah, everybody's going to do it. It's fun. It's fine, whatever. Just let me know what song you're going to do. And I was like, oh my God, I can't get out of this. And I was so anxious that I went to the School of Rock in my neighborhood and took voice lessons, because I was like, if I'm going to do this and it's going to be bad, I don't want it to be really bad. I want it to be like sort of bad. So I took voice lessons and decided that I was like, hey, do you do voice lessons? I have a karaoke thing coming up. I'm petrified. I'm going to do the song Britney Spears Toxic. And can you help me learn this song so I don't suck? Girl, I went to lessons. I don't remember how many. I had like 5 or 10 lessons. I can't remember. And the karaoke never happened. I'm so glad. So glad. We ran out of time or something. I don't remember what happened, but it never went down. I was so grateful that I did not have to get up there and sing in front of people. Oh my God, I was so nervous. So
yeah,
I'm glad you helped me find their voice. I am petrified of singing in front of people.
Like, look, here's the thing about the voice. The voice is like one of the only things that will share all 4 parts of our soul. I think there's 4 parts of our soul: our heart, our mind, our body, and our spirit, right? So when you're sad, people can hear it in your voice. You're talking over the phone, and they can hear your emotion in your voice, right? You can hear your body. So if you're like walking down if you've got a cold, people can hear that. Oh, are you sick? Right? Mm-hmm. So they can hear your body. You can hear your thoughts. Obviously, so much of our thoughts dictate the words that we say. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the ways that our spirit expresses ourselves, right? So like that, the information that we have, the wisdom of our soul comes through our voice. So, and when you're singing, because we are so practiced at speaking, we can control the intonation a lot better. We can control the pitch. We have all this control over our voice. But when you sing, you have less control. You have less like perfecting it before it comes out. So oftentimes you can't control the pitch that comes out. And so really what's happening in that singing is it's your whole soul, heart, mind, body, spirit saying, this is the expression of what's happening in me right now. This is what's happening in my body. This is what's happening in my heart, in my mind. This is what's happening with my spirit. And why in the world would you want the whole world to know that? So I can understand why you're like, I would rather take off all my clothes because I'm very comfortable with my body. I know how to work it. Like, I really know how to work it.
Well, like you said, you don't talk, you're not sharing anything. You're just like, you're a piece
You're just
of
moving
art, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
yeah,
Right. But your
Yeah.
voice is like, you're singing, you're just like all these things that I can't control. And whether people are going to actually be conscious of them or not, they're still getting all this information. And so why would I want to share that?
I definitely didn't think of it like that, because even sometimes people would ask me, like when I danced, how do you do this? And like, separate. I was like, these people don't really know me. Like,
Yep.
This is all, I'm like an actress, like all night long. I'm just an actress. I mean, that's all
Yep.
this is. They don't really know me.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. When you sing, it's like, it's very exposing in a valuable way. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, exactly. Which is, I think, part of the huge thing when people get on camera is they get on to record a reel, they get on to record a podcast, and they're like, shoot, it's my voice. My voice is the thing that people are going to hear. And so now I need to try to perfect my words, or I need to try to perfect like whatever it is about the message instead of relaxing in and sharing, you know what I mean?
Sure. Now, what are you working on right now that you're excited about, or that you really want people to look into or follow you? Like, where do you want people to connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm working on Instagram, obviously, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast. Designed to be heard is where I'm at, because you were designed to be heard. And that's exactly what I want to help you do. I've got a free guide that I'm so excited about. And it really shows like what you were designed to do, like what your ideal clients need from you, and what it is that what will help you shift so that you can be more in that and really feel comfortable speaking out loud. Just information, like packed full of information about your heart and your voice and what your clients are really, really needing from you. So I'm excited to share that.
Girl, yeah, you need to share that with me. I want to do that. I want to take that. Is it, you'll just share the link with me or something? I can put that in the show notes.
Yep. I'll share the link, and then your peeps can get that for free and
I love
check it out.
My last question usually is your motto in life. And I tell people mine is, if you don't try, you won't know. And it's like, if I don't if I move somewhere, or if I don't try, I'm not going to know. So do you have a motto that keeps you going in your life, or something you tell your kids to keep in mind?
Oh, yes. Communication is key.
Girl, I love that. When I was a fitness instructor, I would say that before every class. Communication is key in every relationship. I cannot read your mind.
Yes, exactly. It's like, it was the thing that I said the most to my oldest is communication's key. And I was like, from the time he was young, I was like, dude, I need you to talk to me. Like, if you don't talk to me, I don't know. And if you don't talk to your ideal clients, they don't know either. So it's like,
I love
if you don't say you, they don't know you. They can't connect to you. If you don't speak to your spouse or your partner, they don't know and they can't hear. And you'll hold yourself back at work. You'll hold yourself back in public, on the internet, like all these other places. So communication is a really big thing for me.
It has been an absolute joy having you on Your Unapologetic Life, because you are encouraging women to speak out unapologetically. I love that. Thank you.
Oh, it's just been a blast. Thanks, Morgan.
If something in today's episode hit you in your heart, I want you to raise your hand right now, because I am talking directly to you. Maybe you are dating and you have never really stopped to ask yourself what you actually want, how you want to feel, and what you absolutely will not tolerate anymore. Maybe you're in a relationship or marriage and you are still people-pleasing, still saying yes when you mean no, still making yourself smaller so everyone around you stays comfortable. Maybe you were taught to be a good girl, not cause waves, not take up too much space, and you are exhausted from it. Imagine waking up and knowing exactly who you are, wearing what you want, saying what you mean, letting other people's opinions of you be their problem, not yours. That is a skill, and it is exactly what we build together. My coaching is not a formal weekly call you have to wait for. It's me in your pocket, available via text and voice note in real time as life actually happens. Like your most honest best friend, who also happens to have a master's degree and zero tolerance for you playing small. If you are ready for that, come find me. You can DM me on the Instagram, the link is in the show notes, or head to morganbarkus.com to get in touch. Until next time, stay unapologetic.